The Education Review Office has called for another revamp of NCEA Level 1, or for it to be dropped entirely after a new report found it wasn't fair or reliable. Education Minister Erica Stanford requested the report, which comes after a revised version of Level 1 was introduced only this year. Here's Grace Thomas.
NCEA Level 1 is usually the first taste high school students get of examinations. Now, the Education Review Office says it might be time for the qualification to be scrapped.
60% of teachers told us it's not a reliable measure of students' knowledge and skills. The kind of things we're finding is most leaders were saying, like, the credits students get are not an equal amount of work, so some are harder than others.
Scott Haynes is the principal of Christchurch's Burnside High School, the biggest outside of Auckland, with almost 2,500 students. He thinks ERO's report is spot on.
Schools and principals and teachers are good at trying to make things work, but at the end of the day, NCEA Level 1 in its current form and in the form that the NZQA are seeking to move it is just not working.
Some schools are already choosing to lose the qualification. The report finding more than a quarter of the 21 schools surveyed won't offer Level 1 next year, preferring to concentrate on Levels 2 and 3. Haynes won't be making any major changes for Burnside High School yet, but it's not out of the question.
The strong focus of our staff and of our students really are on those higher stakes NCEA levels of Level 2 and Level 3. Level 1, in the fullness of time, were things to remain the same, we would be reviewing our decision around whether we continue with NCEA Level 1.
The report comes after some changes were made to the qualification at the start of this year, including reducing the number of subjects on offer, new assessment formats and credit requirements. But ERO says it wasn't enough.
We're saying let's reform. So the first step is look at those levels 1, 2 and 3, those last 3 years, and decide how many years do we want of assessment. Once we've done that, if we do want assessment at this age, levels 15 to 16, if we want a qualification, then decide the purpose.
If it was up to the Education Minister, Erica Stanford, Level 1 wouldn't have even happened this year.
I sent a letter out to principals at the end of last year saying my preference was to pause, but I acknowledged that the sector feedback was it's too late. We've done all of our planning, all of our prep, all of our hiring, and it's past the point of no return.
She's working with an advisory group of principals on what structural changes will need to happen.
But it will be internationally comparable, it'll be robust, it'll make sure that our kids are set up for success.
A national curriculum review is underway for NCEA Levels 2 and 3, but the Minister says the future of Level 1, and whether it's here to stay, won't be decided until next year.
Well, Grace is with us now. Kia ora, Grace. So not a lot of love for NCEA Level 1 amongst educators. What about those outside the school system?
Unfortunately, Sam, the concerns extend beyond the classroom too. So ERA's report found that employers don't value the qualification if a student leaves after NCEA Level 1, which is around about 11% of students across Aotearoa last year. It found that 7 in 10 out of the 102 employers that were surveyed don't think it's a reliable measure of students' knowledge, and that 9 in 10 don't think it's a reliable measure either of students' attitude to hard work. So one of the things that will need to be figured out when they're working out the future of NCEA Level 1 is whether it's a foundation qualification that actually allows students to get a job if they do leave after year 11, or whether it's just an academic pathway.
A lot of negative sentiment there. Grace, thanks so much.